Greetings, Earthlings. My name is Clay Big Slack Connor. I am the author of A Novella Underground, Hip Hop Juggalos and the Journey. And this is a memoir / my autobiography about my time as a hip hop artist, my heavy involvement in the Juggalo scene, just my story, period. It's got a lot of hip hop heavy stories and a lot of Juggalo heavy stories, both from my point of view, obviously. What we're going to do today is concentrate on the Juggalo stories. I'm going to read a couple Juggalo excerpts. So get your Rock and Rye and your Moon Mist and MCL and Womp Womp and all that kind of stuff. You feel me? For context, this is the Bizarre Bazaar tour in Oklahoma City, to be exact. This is my first time seeing ICP in Oklahoma City. I'm just a fan, just a Juggalo. I haven't even started doing music whatsoever yet. My first OKC show was the Bizarre Bazaar tour at the infamous Diamond Ballroom. I saw something happen at this show that will live in Juggalo infamy. In 1992, ICP released their first album, Carnival of Carnage, containing the song Fuck Your Rebel Flag. Songs like Chicken Huntin', Willie Bubba, and plenty more contain anti-Confederate, anti-racist lyrics. In fact, being open-minded and not a racist fuckbag has always been a huge cornerstone of being a Juggalo. So when I walked in the Diamond and saw a rebel flag hanging, I knew it would be an issue. They had all 50 state flags hanging from the ceiling in a circle, culminating in the Confederate flag right in the middle of the venue. I wondered out loud to a couple Juggalos around me if ICP was going to do or say anything about it. None of them really acted like it was a big deal. This is Oklahoma, and seeing the Confederate flag is just normal here. Still, in my head, I knew this wouldn't go over. Just as I thought, as soon as ICP hit the stage, they did one song, then Violent J stopped the entire set. He pointed at the flag and said into the mic, "You guys listen to our music, so you know how we feel about that flag, and I'll be damned if we're going to do a whole show staring at one. I don't know if the club owners or whatever want to do something, but we're not going to do another song till that motherfucker comes down." Some of the Juggalos in the crowd cheered in agreement. Most everybody just kind of looked at the flag and didn't do or say anything. It was really just a buzz of mass confusion among the crowd. When Jay saw nobody was making a move, he sincerely stated into the mic once again, "We're seriously not doing another song as long as that flag is there." At that instant, Juggalos on some cartoon shit started stacking themselves on top of each other's shoulder all the way to the ceiling and yanked the disgraced flag down. It looked like those Russian circus guys that build human towers, except it was all unorganized and spur of the moment. As soon as the flag fell, the crowd popped and the show resumed. I always thought it was mega cool to witness an artist live in person stand behind principles you learned they had through their art. It's cool to see someone walk the walk. So yeah, like I was, very seldom do you hear about, an artist's principles that you get to see him live it out. You don't get to see Snoop Dogg actually drop it like it's hot. Or you never saw DMX stop, then drop, then shut him down, and then open up a shop. You never saw that. But I've seen Violent J have a rebel flag ripped down in front of me. So story number one, excerpt number one. The second story is of how Nasty and I performed at Big Ballers in 2007. There's an interesting story of how we got the gig in the first place, but you're going to have to cop the book to check that out. Once Nasty and I were backstage, we were just kind of standing there waiting to go on. Earlier in the night, we had chatted briefly with Twisted, which I thought was cool, but I had met those guys a time or two before. I had seen Violent J in concert numerous times, but never met him. So when he casually strolled up to Nasty and I and started giving us a pep talk before we went on stage, I was lightweight shook. Full paint, a fur coat, and a Godfather-style hat. Maybe even with a feather in that bitch, there stood the Duke of the Wicked right in front of me, telling me to throw out the gifts from under the tree to the crowd and have a blast when I go out to perform at Big Ballers. Malenko-era Slack was dropping golden egg rolls in his Fruit of the Looms. I don't remember specifically what was said. He spoke to us, we spoke to him. It was all a whirlwind of what the fuck. A whirlwind that would get windier because just then the music dropped and we hit the stage. Instinct took over and Nasty and I started to do what we do. For the first 4 to 5 tracks, we were hitting on all cylinders, crowd completely eating out of our hand. Then the staleness hit. McNasty was a complete showman, so when he mixed his sets, he did it to maximize the entertainment value. So it wouldn't just be one song after another. He would do interesting intros, mix sound effects, quotes from movies in between tracks, things like that. This particular evening, one of those tricks of the trade was a record backspinning sound effect placed strategically to get us from one track to the next in the middle of the set. To the sound engineer running the boards, however, this sounded like the ADAT being eaten by his machine. He promptly aborted mission and shut down everything, which left Nasty and I on stage, with no music, staring at a couple thousand Juggalos staring at us. Nasty immediately walked over to the side of the stage and started trying to talk to the sound guy. I had to do something. I walked out onto the catwalk and led the crowd in some Juggalo call and response chants. When I say stomp, you say woom woom, stomp. 1,000 Juggalos, woom woom. What else? Family, family, family. What else? At this point, it had been about 3 minutes, or in on stage with your dick in your hand time, an eternity. I kept thinking the sound guy was going to get us back on track any second. Unbeknownst to me, the sound guy was actively trying and failing to get the ADAT to cue back up. Turns out the cheap-ass last-minute studios ADAT was, as the kids call it, hot basura. How do your hometown heroes get out of this dilemma? You're going to have to cop the book to see how that works itself out. It dropped last week. Super proud. A lot of time and effort went into this. It's available right now on Amazon. $13.99 plus shipping, shipped to your house. You can get the Kindle e-version, $9.99. This week, I will have my author copies, and I can deliver hand-to-hand copies anywhere in the OKC metro area for $15. And it ends up being cheaper than with the shipping charge, it ends up being cheaper than getting it shipped from Amazon. And I get a bigger, slice a little bit off the cheese. Juggalos know what I'm talking about. I get a bigger cut that way. So yes, link is going to be down here, wherever you see this video, Facebook, YouTube. Holler at me if you want a hand-to-hand copy coming this week. A Novella Underground.